Hey guys, this is Simpleman223 and I'm here to review The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. So yeah, this movie was awesome. Definitely a great movie. Yeah, I like this movie. In the movie, Simba's, of course she's older and the drawings are different. Going from Lion King 1.5 to this movie, because Lion King 1.5 was made in 2004, I think. I don't know. And then this movie was made, of course, 1990 something, and the drawings are totally different. Everybody has like their different colors. I'm like, whoa, but you get used to it eventually. Yeah, like I said, awesome movie. Simba in this movie, of course, he has a daughter now. Him and Alla have a daughter, which is her name's Kiara, and yeah, and she's kind of like. Gosh. Yeah, that teaches me not to put a VHS on there anymore. Gosh. That's my alarm clock. That's okay. Did you put my VHS and break? Oh, jeez Louise. Friggin' man, oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. I guess there's not gonna be anything up there anymore. I put Mr. Coconut up there, but I don't know where he is. He's over there, might as well. There we go. Now he's up there. Enjoy him. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so you have to get used to Simba being the father, and he's all mature and overprotective of Kiara, and it's like, whoa, Simba was so different from the past two movies. Especially after seeing Lion King 1.5, it's like, oh my gosh. So you have to get used to it, eventually you do, and the only problems I find with this movie is that the hyenas aren't in it, because the hyenas left the Pride Lands after the ending of the first movie, and Lion King 1.5. So, yeah, they're not in it, so I kind of miss them. You know, no retarded guy. You know? And, another thing, it lacks the adventure, I think, this movie, because, the other movie, of course, the other two movies were in the Pride Lands, but it also went all over, like, to the place where Timon and Pumbaa lived, and it went all over and everywhere. But this only stayed in the Pride Lands. Of course, there are scenes in the Outlands, but, like, you know, the Outlands, but that's pretty much, I'm pretty sure it was the Pride Lands back when, before Scar took over. So, pretty much, they're basically in the Pride Lands the whole movie, and that's a problem. But, besides those little problems, it's a good movie. No, it's an awesome movie. It's, yeah, another thing is Pumbaa has, like, his color is different. It's really weird. He's like a dark, dark red, and it's like, what happened? And he looks like, it's just weird like that. Yeah, but besides that, like I said, this movie's awesome, and in the end, I would rate this movie 4 stars. I rate this movie 4 stars, awesome, and yeah, I don't know how much people have seen this movie. I think it's very underrated, in my opinion. I don't know if it's underrated or not. Haven't looked online much about it, but if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. And yeah, because now I'm going to talk about the plots. If you haven't seen the movies, click out. So, yeah. Okay, well, the movie starts off with Mufasa. You see him kind of looking over the Pride Lands, and Simba and the baboon and stuff, and Nala are holding their daughter. Yeah, Kiara, they're holding Kiara, and Timon and Pumbaa, I forgot to mention, Timon and Pumbaa are really funny in this movie. They're not really funny. They're funny as much, they're not in it a lot. That's another problem. Timon and Pumbaa aren't in it as much. I mean, I'm used to them being the main characters in Lion King 1.5, but, you know, every scene they're in, they're really funny. Yeah, so like I continue the plot, yeah, so it goes, Kiara's like a cub now, and, you know, Simba's very overprotective of her, like, because he doesn't want to lose her, like, he's very overprotective of her, and she goes out and she doesn't like that Timon and Pumbaa are babysitting her, so she eventually ditches them. I can't remember how. Oh yeah, because they have an argument about bugs or whatever, so she ditches and goes to the Outlands. No, is it called the Outlands? Give me a minute. I still have the Wikipedia page. I might. No. Whatever, I'm pretty sure it's the Outlands. Yeah, she goes to the Outlands, and that's where she meets Kovu, another cub who looks a lot like Scar, and they start you know, playing and stuff. At first they end up getting chased by crocodiles, and then they start becoming friends. But then Zira, which is Kovu's mother, and Simba, which, you know, Simba, they come and they start like growling at each other, and you find out that Kovu actually he's not Scar's son. Scar never had a kid, but he was hand-chosen by Scar to be his successor when Scar dies. That's really cool. He is hand-chosen by Scar, and that's reasons like that. Simba, of course, all the lionesses that were for Scar were banned to the Outlands, so he tells them to leave, and he says, well, no, because he says if they come to the Pride Land, there's like, I guess they have, there's a sentence like get killed or whatever. So she says, oh, if you want to take one of us, take my cub. But Simba refused to hurt the cub, so he told both of them to leave. And they left, and Simba, of course, gets angry at Kiara, and they have one of those conversations, just like Simba had a conversation with his father. And then they start playing. The conversation doesn't last as long as the first conversation. And then it goes to Kiara being older, and she's going to go on the hunt for the first time, but of course Simba, he promises not to get in the way, but being overprotective, he gets Timon and Pumbaa to watch her again, without her knowing. And, what happened? And meanwhile, Zira is trying to, because she's, very upset, of course, that Scar died, and she wants, Kovu to become the king, and her other son, she has another son who's older, and then a daughter. And the older son is very upset because he wants to be, because since he's older, he wanted to be king, like to be chosen, but he wasn't chosen by Scar. And eventually Zira trains Kovu to get angry and want to like kill Simba, and they devise a plot to burn the forest so Kovu can rescue Kiara, and then they can fall in love, and then he can kill Simba, so he can become king. So that's the plan starts to be. First, Kiara gets away from Timon and Pumbaa, and then the fire starts, and then she's all like, oh, she gets knocked unconscious. Kovu saves her. And then they start to, of course, they become friends. Kovu actually gets let into the Pride Lands by Simba, but he has to sleep outside. And meanwhile, the baboon guy, he can like communicate with Mufasa, but Mufasa can't like talk. He the baboon talks, and Mufasa sends messages. And the message that he sent is that Kovu and Kiara should be together. And the baboon's like, what? So he tries to get them together as well, and he does this whole love song, and they do go together. They end up loving each other, and then Kovu doesn't want to do that plot anymore, and Zira finds it out. So Zira's all upset that Kovu betrayed them. So when eventually Simba wants to have a talk with Kovu because he's starting to trust him, and they have a talk about Scar, and Kovu's like, I never knew Scar was that evil, and stuff like that. Because at one point, him and Kiara were talking about what Simba was told by his father about how the kings were like in the stars or whatever, and looking down, and Kovu was like, I think Scar's up there, and he kind of was sad, but now he realizes that Scar was a bad person, a bad lion, I should say, and eventually they actually get attacked by all the lionesses, and Zira says to Simba, you know, good job, Kovu, or something like this, but Kovu refuses to, he doesn't want to hurt Simba, but Simba ends up getting hurt, and then Kovu leaves, and then he goes back to the Pride Lands, but they all, like, banish him. The only person that doesn't want him to be banished is, Kiara, of course, so Kiara eventually leaves, runs away, finds Kovu, and then the two of them want to run away, but Kiara says, no, we have to go back, and then meanwhile Zira, Zira's Kovu's brother actually ends up dying, because he wants to prove himself to his mother, and he dies, and the mother's all like, no, and the brother's all like, I tried, and he dies. And which makes Zira even more angry at Kovu for what happened. And so they devise a plan to fight all the lionesses so they can take over the Pride Lands. And they start that fight, and there's a whole fight and stuff, and it ends up with Zira and Simba are like looking at each other, they're ready to fight, but then Kiara and Kovu try to stop the fight. Oh, at one point when Zero gets angry at Kovu. She scratches him, and he gets a scar, just like Scar. So, yeah. Anyway, so they try to stop the fight, and they succeed, actually. They tell all the lionesses, like, you know, you're all one. You're the same. And all the lionesses go into the Pride Lands, and they want to be good again. Except for Zero. Zero's like, no, I refuse, you know, to go to the Pride Lands, or, like, I refuse, like, to be good or whatever. And she says, you know, Scar, this is for you. And she goes to attack Simba. And then Kiara attacks her, and they both kind of fall off this cliff, and they're both hanging. Kiara gets up, and she's like, yo, grab my hand, or my paw, or whatever. I'll pull you up, but Zero refuses. But I think she starts to get convinced. I don't know, but I don't think so, because eventually it's too late. She falls into a river, and then you see her paw try to get back up, but a log hits her back down, and then the river just takes her away, and she dies. And when Kiara was trying to get her to be on the good side, I didn't want her to go to the good side because I wanted like a battle, like a fight. But when she was on the cliff, then I wanted her to turn good, but it didn't happen. She ended up dying. And yeah, and then Kovu gets accepted into the Pride Lands, and it ends with Timon, Pumbaa, Kovu, Kiara, Simba, and Nala all standing on the rock thingy, like on Pride Rock, and they're all like, you know, and all the animals are there. And then it shows a light, and it shows Mufasa say, good work, son. No, yeah, I think he says, good work, son, something like that. And that gave me goosebumps. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And then it ends with Mufasa saying, because all the lionesses from the Outlands and the Pride Lands are now together, so now everybody, it's all happy ending. And another thing I did mention, but I want to touch upon more, is that the hyenas aren't in this movie, because after they, I guess after they killed Scar, they just left the Pride Lands, and, you know, they left, so they're not in this movie. But anyways, so yeah, so all the lionesses are together, the animals are together, happy ending, and it ends with, and they all roar, like all the lions roar, like roar, roar, and the lionesses roar, and it ends with, you hear Mufasa saying, we are one. And then it says, the end. And that's the end of the movie. And let me check my time. Okay. So yeah, it says the end, and I got goosebumps. I was like, wow. Definitely, it's one of the series, it's like Homeward Bound and District 9 and Star Wars. There's a bunch of series, a couple of series that I almost like. It's so good, I want to see again. So yeah, it's definitely an amazing series. I'm actually going to, when I finish a series or a trilogy or a quadrilogy or whatever, I'm actually going to rate the whole series as 1. So I forgot to do that, so I have to do it right now. So give me a minute while I count it up. Just make music in your head or something. You know what, I'll just stand in front of the camera and think. Okay, so hold on. So first one. I'm not sure right now, but annotation right here. Here's the annotation. I'll say what the rating is, because I might do a 10 kind of rating, probably. So yeah, so that was my review of The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and The Lion King trilogy is over. Like I said, you've already read the annotation. That was my review, and yeah. Let me check my time, see if I have enough time to say my goodbye. No, I don't. No, I don't have any time. HipMan223, subscribe to all the people I usually say goodbye. MVP Boxers, make sure to subscribe to them. Goodbye.